Welcome to Optimal Timelines. I am your guide, Sean Collins, and helping you to connect to your most optimal future timeline. So this is going to be your monthly Tarotscope readings for July 2022 for your North Node by sign and house. So not your sun, moon, or ascendant sign, but your North Node by sign and house. So you're going to want to watch two videos, one for your North Node by sign and one for your North Node by house. Now, as most of you know, the reason I use the North Node as opposed to your Sun, Moon, or Ascendant is that it's recognized in astrology that the North Node is the path that you were born to learn, the path that you were born to take, and so it's your North Star. And so it's much more relevant to your everyday life. So let's get started on the readings. This is going to be your monthly Tarotscope reading for July 2022 for everybody with their North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. And while I'm shuffling and connecting to the energies, I want to invite you to relax into the reading, open your heart and your whole energy system, close your eyes if you're able to, take some deep breaths and just kind of relax into it to make sure that you receive all the information that is relevant. Okay, I'm going to start that. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be your monthly Tarotscope reading for everybody with their North Node in Libra and or the 7th house, and it's going to be for July 2022. And while I'm connecting to the energies and shuffling, I want to invite you to take some deep breaths, relax, open up your energy system to receive all the information that is going to be most relevant to your life. So I'm going to connect to the energies and we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, North Node in Libra and or the 7th house. Okay, so the spread on this side of the table represents the first half of the month from the 1st to the 15th, and then this side represents the 16th of the month to the end. The card in the middle here is your overall kind of theme for the month. Now, July, a lot of you I can see, okay, you have been working through some pretty emotional things, okay, emotional, and also I can see like there's some mental anxiety that you've been dealing with for a while. I really see this for this North Node for quite a while, especially from the beginning of the year on. And you have the 5 of Cups here. What I'm here to tell you is that I'm going to tell you the reason why, if you've been going through some emotional disappointments, emotional turmoil, mental turmoil, or anything like that regarding particularly in situations in your life, but also in relationship situations. And again, not just romantic relationships, but it could be on different levels, family, friends, work type thing, okay? And the 5 of Cups is saying that, yes, you've gone through this. There's a reason you've gone through that, but with the 5 Cups, there's still 2 standing. 3 are tilted and tipped over, but there's 2 standing up, and there's a road that you could take away, moving away from that, and that's what this is about. Now, the first half of the month, I'm seeing an energy of a lot of you. This could happen this month, or what I'm thinking for most of you is it's something that has already occurred and that this is the aftermath. But it could be either way, because each north node is on their own timeline, okay? Although they're going through very similar energies. So with this Five of Swords reversed, okay, and Five of Swords reversed and the Three of Swords, what you're working through is, some of you have gone through a situation where there was a conflict with someone or some people or a situation, and it was very disheartening, to you. It was, and you can't understand it emotionally. So I'm seeing these emotional hurts, but there's an element of these emotional hurts that is, I like extra hurtful, meaning that I'm seeing like an energy of like, like nasty things said, almost like a mocking tone, or you're feeling this way, Now your two advice cards, you have the Nine of Swords and you've got the Two of Pentacles, okay, reversed. I'm here to tell you that what is happening is there is a big call in your life for change. And, it's really funny because earlier today, before I did this reading, obviously, I read something interesting, and it was a post that someone put up, and it was a quote that, we want the world to change, in essence, okay, but are we willing to change ourselves? And it's funny because that I scrolled through that and it kind of stuck with me. Oh, that's interesting. And I had no idea that I would bring it up. But that's kind of what I'm seeing is that a lot of times in our lives, situations happen and we play a part in it. And so that's what you're figuring out, like right now in your life, is you're figuring out what exactly like your part in your life, like it's like taking, kind of responsibility. Now, your superpower, because, you have, if you have a north node in Libra, you have a south node in Aries, or in the 7th house, okay, is your north node, you have a first house, south node. Your superpower is you are a natural, most of you are a natural, like, warrior, a natural boss, a take charge person, a person that doesn't take crap and all of that. Okay, you have natural strengths from your past lives, and you've had to be very, very tough and firm in past lives, and even in this life, early in your past, in this life, okay? And this life is telling you now is to take that warrior energy and become the teacher or the master. And now it's really funny, okay? I did a north node reading for people with their north node in Aries. So their south node is in Libra. So flip-flop, okay? But when we're dealing with the polarities on the horoscope, okay? We're Aries, Libra, Taurus, Scorpio, and so on, okay? The polarities have a connection to each other because the polarities balance each other out. So an imbalance of Aries energy, the cure for that is Libra, in the sense that, like, if you have a boiling pot of water and it's too hot, you don't pour more hot water in it to cool it down. You either let it sit there, or more, intelligently, you could add cold water to it to cool it down. So you're adding the opposite element. Okay, so that's what I'm saying here. And so what I'm getting in this part is that you're learning is like, okay, yes, you feel what you feel, but just because we feel and think something, and I'm not saying deny your feelings, because, you know, I'm a Cancer sun, okay, Scorpio moon. Okay, I'm all about honoring your feelings. But what we have to realize is that everything throughout our life, everything that we think and everything that we feel doesn't necessarily mean it's the ultimate truth. So you've gone through a situation where, or situations where there have been, you know, issues with people and people situations in different aspects of your life. So the question is that, okay, Libra is about seeing the other person's point of view, because in order to get along in relationships, there has to be compromise, okay? And, you know, Aries energy, it doesn't, a warrior energy is not compromise. You know, like if there is a leader of a bodyguard team, and they're there to protect somebody, they're paid. You have, you know, the lead bodyguard, okay, total warrior energy, trained in all sorts of combat and, you know, weapons. They don't sit there and, you know, there's a situation that comes up, they don't go, well, what do you think, Melissa, or what do you think, Stan, what should we do? Like, they act, you know what I mean? So, and that's a beautiful thing. That is your superpower. You have an amazing energy of Aries. But in this lifetime, it doesn't serve you. And so what you're learning is to do this. Now, you're learning to balance this out. So what I'm seeing is that for a lot of you, to make a long story short, you're struggling with this. You're struggling with having feelings of these situations, like maybe relationships have been blown up throughout your life, or there's been relationships that have been damaged, and you may be thinking like it's the other person's fault because, you know, and maybe it is, you know, but it's like what I'm getting is, it could be everyone plays a part in it, but what part do you play? And that's what you're mastering. So what I'm seeing for you is there's a big difference between, you know, when I did the reading for North Node, as I was saying a few minutes ago, North Node in Aries, I was talking about like a martial arts trainer and the student. So the master and the student. And if you've ever seen like the way, like Shaolin monks or these martial art, we've all seen it in movies, even if it's been dramatized, you know, it's the same thing. It's the same, you know, I mean, if you think of like Kung Fu Panda, you know, you had Shifu. It's the same thing. You have the master and you have the student, okay? You are learning in this lifetime to be the master. Yes, you still retain your toughness, okay? But you are not supposed to embody the warrior. You're supposed to be the trainer, okay? Which means when you're training people, a master does not destroy their students. And a master is taking a higher perspective. You know, it's usually like you see the masters have gone from the physical training of a student, and then they rise above and they embody the spiritual, and they embody the philosophical areas of life. So that's ultimately where you're going, is you're going to a higher form of the warrior energy. But part of that is the ability to get along. You know what I mean? To work with people in relationships, and it's not easy with this North Node. I understand. I get it. I have Pluto in the first house. Okay, so it's a very similar energy. All right. So Pluto in the first house is very similar to having a South Node in Aries, or the first house. And so, you know, part of that, you know, there's tremendous strength in the ability to like listen to others, see someone's point of view, and say, you know what, I admit I was wrong about this, and I see your point. That's not weakness, that's strength. Okay. But in this general world of bluntness that we live in, okay, where, everything is just so in your face and blunt, we think, strength is one way and weakness is other. But there's not, as you delve into it, it takes much more strength to be able to, say you're sorry, to be able to, you know, admit you're wrong, type of a thing, And so this is all I'm bringing in. I hope that you're resonating with this. This is what you're learning, and it's not easy. I get it, that it's definitely not easy. And so what is happening is that I feel like this first half of the month, there's going to be a teaching moment for you. And it could come in the form of a person, or it could come in the form of something you read, or something you come across. It could even be an insight. It could be a dream. It could be a lot of things. And keep in mind that here's the thing. This teachable moment is maybe on the surface going to relate something to you that you may not want to hear at first. But if you're able to hear it, just like a student who doesn't, a martial arts student who doesn't know that much and is being shown and chastised and worked with the master, the student has to humble themselves in order to, they call, if, did you ever hear of someone that says, they're not very teachable? I mean, you've heard that, right? In jobs and different things, like they're not open to being taught. They're not teachable. Well, that's what I'm talking about here. Are we open to being teachable? That takes humility. It takes the ability to say, yeah, I don't know something. I may be wrong about something, That's what I'm talking about, okay? And that's super powerful. Like, if you could be listening to this and maybe you've done that before. If you've really done that, it doesn't, I get it, it doesn't feel natural to us when we have these placements, because we're used to strength being one way. It's like my way or the highway. I said what I said, I did what I did, period, deal with it, Okay, that's one way to deal with things. And there are people that need to embody that in this lifetime. But then there's another way to deal with things, is like, I'm going to try to see this person's point of view. I'm going to try to see, okay, and then be the ability to meet, to admit, okay, maybe I was wrong about that. There's nothing wrong with that. Takes a huge amount of strength. You talk about strength. It's easy. Like, let's face it, okay, the blunt warrior energy of like toughness, okay, and it's like, and I'm talking, it doesn't matter what gender you are, okay, we're talking about when you have this placement, you have this natural in you. The blunt, it's so easy to get mad. It's so easy to be resentful. That's like, that's simple to do. Like, any customer service person will tell you that, they get like 90% more, negative calls than positive calls, even though the company is, doing great. Okay. It's because, people are more apt to, they're not going to praise you. You know what I mean? So that's the way the world works. And I get it, but that's like, really, that's easy. Like, anger, fighting, that's easy. But how much strength does it take, as I said, to like really like look at ourselves and say, okay, and it's a tremendous amount of strength. Okay, now going on to the second half of the month. Okay, so there's this teachable moment or moments in the first 2 weeks of July, and the second half of the month is, I feel like, some of you are going to kind of get this. And during this teachable moment, even if you just take the tiniest step forward in something as simple as like, like the normal way you would do things is like, no, I don't want to do that. No, I don't do it. And if you took the tiniest step to just say, okay, so what is it? Like kind of see someone else's point of view. Just a tiny little step. You don't have to like grovel at people's feet or anything like that to make this stuff work. You just start taking little like small steps forward in this. And I feel like what a lot of you are realizing is some of you are realizing that, maybe some of where you're at in your life is kind of, you've played a part in it. You have the Eight of Swords here, okay? The Eight of Swords this is a mental prison of our own making. And we have the ability at any moment to release ourselves from that mental prison, okay? So there's a lot of mental anxiety here, and I get it. I just want you, my suggestion to you is to just rethink all those battles. There might be some very deep resentments with people and situations, but rethink those battles and be honest. Just be honest and just say, okay, like what part did I play in? And that's what is going to release you. I feel like some of you are going to be able to do that. You have the Four of Swords here, okay? This is taking pause, but it's still swords. It's swords, okay? This is mental. This is communication, okay? But there's a pause here because this is you are contemplating these things that I'm talking about. And especially if this teacher aspect comes, this teachable moment in whatever form. It could even be, like I said, like a book or a movie. It's going to come in some form or forms, because it could be more than once. And you're going to contemplate that. And ultimately, what I see a lot of you doing is, with this Six of Pentacles. Now, normally this is like, dealing with, money and possessions and charitable donations and whatnot. Okay, but all these cards have many, many, many layers and levels, okay? This is about, by you giving of yourself, meaning that, this is the card. It goes, you're actually in both positions. So you are the giver and you are also the receiver. Now, the receiver on this card is, receiving something, obviously grateful, obviously humble. They're down on their knees and they are receiving, allowing someone to give them something. And the person who is the giver is, giving of their own free will and seemingly, look what we have here. The Six of Pentacles, you've got the scales. And guess what sign uses the symbol of the scales? Libra. Okay? So this is how this is balancing out. You are playing both roles because when you allow yourself to, let's say in a small way, say, yeah, I was wrong about this situation, and you let that person know, you are in this position where you are receiving, you are in a position of humility, but you are receiving that person's strength, okay? And you're allowing them, more importantly, to be strong, okay? And that's what a good teacher, instructor does, allows the student to be strong sometimes, and allows them to show their strength, okay? And you're also being the opposite. You are being the, giver, because you are giving of yourself and of your heart. This is how relationships work. This is like the give and take, type of a thing. That's what you're moving toward. I hope you can see. This is a very, very, very deep stuff that you're going through. But here's the point. If you're listening to this, hopefully you're not confused. Okay, listen to it again. But what I'm saying is that I'm telling you a way for ultimately you to win in your life, to start winning in, emotionally, with relationships, winning in all aspects of your life, career, family, friends, okay? And some of the things that have happened in the past may be able to be healed, and maybe they won't. That is okay. It's all a learning thing. But if you can go back and you can take a different look at it, you're going to find that, okay, maybe you can find areas where you could have done things differently and will do things differently. Now, for the second half of the month, your 2 advice cards are the 4 of Pentacles, okay, and the 2 of Wands. So what this is that with this 6 of Pentacles, you're going to find when you give this out, meaning you're giving your humility, you're giving your cooperation, you are working with people, and you're playing both sides. You are the receiver and the giver. What you're going to find is you will be enriched. You are not losing anything. You're not losing strength. You're not losing face. You're not losing, anything of value. You're actually gaining things. And then what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to actually, this is what I was talking about, okay, is you are looking at the future of where you want to go and how you're going to move forward. And then also looking out, this could be, if it's let's say, facing west, looking at the past, looking at the past and kind of, replaying it and saying, and trying to see, like I said, what your part in it is. So this is very powerful stuff. This is very, deep stuff. And it's a very important message. But when I do these readings, one thing I want to make very, very clear is these readings are geared for the North nodes, for them, as I said, to be on a better timeline. Okay? This is what's going to make the most changes. And the most difficult part of this is that whatever is in our South node, okay, by sign and house, and also our Pluto placement, okay, these are areas that are our past, and they're very ingrained in us. They're instinctual tendencies. And there are natural instinctual tendencies, but we're not supposed to follow them. Okay, so when we move toward our North node, it's very foreign to us. I get that. But this is the magic. The magic of following the North node is when you do this, you begin to see your life transform like nothing else in your life will. Okay? Try it. Don't even take my word for it. Trust me. When you start to move toward the North node, and many of you have told me that you've done this because I interact with you in the comments, and clients tell me when you do this, it's a game changer. Okay. So, yeah, this is intense stuff. You're doing good. Just remember, you're here to see the other person's point of view. Relationships and dealing in relationships, quality relationships with people and situations is your goal. Partnering up. You're no longer supposed to be the lone wolf, okay? So, thank you so much for watching. I hope this reading makes sense to you. If you have any questions, please reach out in the contact information in the description box below or in the comments. I love to talk with you in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, if you could hit the like button, it helps out. I would really appreciate it. And if you'd like a personal reading, there's going to be a link in the description box below. You can get some more information. So thanks again. Many blessings. Go out there, be strong, be the warrior teacher that you were meant to be. Many blessings.